Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. How's everyone's week going? I hope you've had a great week since we were here. We look 2 weeks in a row. This is almost a streak. And if we do 3 weeks in a row, we will be streaking. Not that kind. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't.
We can. I mean, to
streaking.
celebrate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm in.
maybe we're going streaking. I don't know. But
I
just
say
glad
everyone
you guys-
should enjoy the show.
Yeah, I mean, hey, enjoy it in the way that you want to enjoy it. We're not here to dictate your enjoyment. Emphasis on dictate. And so, yeah, just enjoy it. So we're glad we're here. Jess is here. Kev's here. How you guys doing today?
Hey guys, how are you?
How's it going? Feeling good?
Feeling good. Everyone have a good week?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, good.
okay, just making sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't need to get too personal here, but I hope outside of everything, you guys had a good week. I mean, you guys get any feedback from our first show together?
No.
Yeah, positive feedback. That's it.
Okay, yeah, no, you like to hear good feedback. Like I hear from my people that message me. We'll talk about a little feedback here in a little bit, but first, I just want to tell you where you can find us. You can find us everywhere, basically. Any social media channel, you can find us at the BLPA. That's for the Beer League Players Association, BLPA. So check us out on there. If you interact with us, we're going to interact with you. We have a lot of people that chirp us on social media channels, but whatever. We're used to being chirped by now.
Yeah, by all means.
By all means.
Yeah, we embrace it.
Yeah, have at it. Not going to hurt our feelings. Might hurt Kev's. Are they going to hurt your feelings, Kev? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm a fairly sensitive person. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. You seem dainty.
Just don't talk about the map or the plant, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one
Having
thing
a
I
rough
want
week.
to talk about, and people are on you about your ficus. I don't even know that's a ficus. But
I don't even know if it's a ficus. I asked the wife. She's like, I don't know what the plant is, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't. I'm getting shit for having a ficus, and I just want to know if I had a ficus.
It's like some kind of palm tree. I sold trees in college, the both kind. And,
You're an arborist. What?
No. I just
Wait,
sold
what did you sell in college?
trees, both of the kinds.
Like
both
legal?
of the kinds. Okay.
Oh, okay. Which one was better money?
For legal purposes, I make no comment.
Okay, I like that. We're not trying to get anyone in trouble legally.
Obviously, the other kind, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, you don't have to tell. Okay, we want to hear stories about that. But what we'll do is when we want to have a segment about not just selling illegal stuff. That's the name of the segment. We'll put you in a ski mask and we'll change your voice so you'll sound like whoa.
Yeah,
They won't even know. No one will know.
Yeah,
but
it'll still be Nick and I, but then you'll just be this ski masked voice,
right?
hidden
This like
person.
soothing voice for Sue in bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it might still have Jess. It might still have Jess at the point. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work. But we're gonna say this is not Jess. This is 100%.
This is totally
Jess.
Anonymous.
So, all right. So before we get going too far, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you by HockeyWolf.com. Ow. HockeyWolf.com. They're beer leaguers just like you and me, trying to make the game more affordable. That's what they're doing. If you need jerseys, if you need some teamwear, some apparel, some jerseys, whatever, they got you. They even have BLPA stuff that we don't have, which is wild. But they're wild boys over there at Hockey Wolf. So if you need something, if you need some sticks, you need some gloves, need whatever, check out Hockey Wolf. Trav's a great guy. He supports the shit out of us. So we always say support the people that support us. That's what we're doing. So HockeyWolf.com. Ow. All right. So I'm going to address this just right now. We've offended some people. We have offended them. We've done it. We didn't do it maliciously. We made a title on our last week's podcast, and let me just be frank what that title was: boobies, lips, pee, ass was the name. It was funny. It's what you guys talked about at the end of the show, and I just went with it. I went with it. You know what? Because I'm here to make people laugh. That's what I like. I like people to laugh, like people to be entertained, like them to have fun. And so I did it. And I can't help it if there's 60-year-old fucks out there that have nothing better to do with their lives than to create drama out of nothing. And so basically, I don't know what to say. If you're offended by boobies, lips, pee and ass, you should probably just stop listening right now. Yeah, it's boobies, lips.
It's the new Macarena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
PPS, yeah.
if you're going to be offended, if you're going to be, this is not the show for you. This is not the show. I
don't think there's many shows for him. I mean, maybe Matlock. I mean, he could do Matlock.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
Perry Mason.
Yeah.
I mean, I said 60. My grandmother would be 80. The Andy Griffith Show, great show.
Andy Griffith.
They don't offend people. They don't.
Wholesome. I mean, Green Acres was one, I believe. Yeah, real wholesome.
I mean, Andy Griffith. They were talking one
Jess
time
is like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, they were talking about one time Andy Griffith about going out and necking at the point. Maybe if you're 60 and that's what you're into, then maybe you go watch those shows.
No, yeah, they got to be careful of the heavy petting.
Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, Murder, She Wrote's another good one.
That's probably a show for you. But
we just lost Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, I know.
Cheers.
Sad.
Cheers to Angela.
All I have is,
and it's not like our target audience is 12-year-old girls. So cheers to that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we said we're going to bring that stuff up, Jess. And I think that stuff is too deep for the show. I mean, if boobies, lips, pee-pee, and ass is too deep, then that's going to be way, way, way too deep. And so basically what I'm saying is we're not here to offend you. No. If that is offensive to you, you don't have to listen. But if you want to listen to this just to make up the drama that you need to function in your life, because it seems like the people that are saying this stuff, they need, and I know people love drama. They love it. I like watching it. I don't like being a part of it. I like to see it from afar. I'm like, look at all the drama that dummy's dealing with. But right now, I'm the dummy because I'm having to deal with that kind of shit.
Hey, it's not. They probably didn't even listen to the show. That's why they didn't understand that it was a reference to the show. Fuck them.
I think there are some people that just have it out for you for whatever reason.
Fuck them.
100%.
I mean, is it offensive if I say that I have boobies?
What?
Yeah.
What? I'm offended. I am offended as fuck right here.
This is brand new information.
Yeah, brand new. But anyway, if you're offended, you can just turn it off, and then we're gonna move on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, we're gonna get into some draft talk. Very little draft talk. Okay, listen. They told us to shut the fuck up, and for Kevin to show his tats. That's what the listeners.
So, am I being asked to disrobe?
Apparently, this guy was not.
I got this one on the.
Yeah, this guy was not offended by movies.
It's an old anime movie called Akira from the 80s.
That's the only tattoo you got?
It's it's a sleeve. It goes up right here, and then I have the Chicago flag on my back.
Man, you Chicago guys. I got other friends, and they're putting that Chicago shit all over them. They just love it. Like they're just like, hey, I'm from Oklahoma, and I don't have one of them fucking dream catchers hanging off my butt cheek.
Sure.
Well, maybe you should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I have a tattoo right here, right? And so I mean, I've told this.
Is it the state of Oklahoma?
No, it could be turned into that. Okay, because here's the deal. Like I got a tattoo when I was 23 years old. And this is a sad story. So before, I don't want to make it even sad, but it is gonna sad people out. I have a tattoo here. I don't like tattoo. Not that I don't like tattoos, but I'm just not a tattoo guy. Like this is not my thing. But it was my 23rd birthday. Was the next day, and my buddy that I was playing college baseball with, he wanted a tattoo, and it was his birthday the same day as mine, and I just got married, and he was married. They were friends, the two wives. That's actually how I met my wife, is through them. And we were down. He was going to go get a tattoo for his 22nd birthday, and when we got there, my wife was like, "You need a tattoo, Nick." I was like, "I don't want a tattoo. I'm not interested." She's like, "No, I think that'll be sexy as hell. You should get a tattoo." Like, I don't want one. She's like, "You get one." And I'm like, "Listen, here's the deal. If I'm standing in front of the fucking pearly gates of heaven, and God says, Nick, sorry, your body's a temple. You shouldn't have tatted it up. I'm going to say, but listen, God, my wife was like Eve.
Is that really your concern?
Well, no, this is just in my, no.
Yeah, not how it's going to look when you're 80.
Yeah. And so basically I got a tattoo, but we were poor and we can only afford $60 at the time. So back then, like those the little tribal bands were cool. And so I got one started. No. I got one started.
Nice.
And my wife said when she got it, she goes, "If you get a tattoo, you'll remember me forever." And I'm like, "Fuck, whatever. Okay, cool. We'll get it. Whatever." That's what we got. And the next day we were driving home from her family's house, with about 70 miles. We got in a car wreck and she passed away, but I had the tattoo. So I remember her forever. And so whenever people ask me about it, like, why you got this little thing, it's not finished, and I can tell the story so I can remember her forever. That's the only, and I keep saying, like, I want to finish it or I want to add something to it, and I'm just like,
no,
should I?
no,
Should I? I mean,
absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean,
Where it is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I like
I get it. I get it, but it's like I look at it, I'm like, what about a hockey tattoo, or what if I get this fucking dream catcher hanging off my ass because I'm from Oklahoma? You know,
I'm kind of rooting for the dream catcher. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
and why do you keep saying hanging off your ass? Like, is it
like I want the circle like on my butt,
just on your cheek,
and then the feathers hanging down?
Yeah.
You know, it has,
why don't just put the circle around your asshole?
Well, but then the
Right,
feathers, so it's like two. It's like 2 on 1 going down
one on
leg,
each cheek. Like that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I'm not Native American. I'm not Indian. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm sure someplace there was some mixing in my family. But I'm not there. So okay. We do have a bunch of stuff to talk to, but the guy just jumped in. His name's Nick. We're gonna bring him in. He's gonna be our resident pro on the BLPA.
Another Nick? How am I supposed to keep this straight?
Exactly. We got
Nikki and Nick.
Right? We got Yeah.
Thanks, Jess. Always looking out for me.
I'm Nikki. That's Nick. Okay, we're gonna bring him in. Listen, he's from the Boston area. He's played some high level hockey, and we're gonna bring him in. He's gonna tell us a little story. I haven't ran this by this is the first time me and him have actually talked outside of text message. Okay, so I'm gonna bring him in. Okay, here we go.
All right,
Nick.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh hell yeah, he's from Boston. I knew it. I knew he would have the accent.
Yeah. It's not gonna go away, brother. Born, right there in the north end, so it's nice and thick.
Hell yeah.
I might need to go upstairs and get a new pair of underwear real quick.
Oh, they're already soaking, are they?
Me too.
He told me like he's like just I'm from Boston, so if you need anything, I know a guy, and I'm like that's exactly something from a guy from Boston.
Always got a guy. You need your car fixed, I got a guy. You need a pizza, I got a guy. I got a guy for just about anything. You need someone whacked, I got a guy. It all works.
You need to whack a guy. You need to whack off a guy.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Where's your car parked, bud?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I was just kind of giving you a little intro. I don't know if you heard me when you got in there, but you're going to be our resident high level hockey guy. And listen, I make fun of Spin Chicklets because a lot of people say, Nick, why don't you make the BLPA show like Spin Chicklets? And I say, well, listen, fuckers, I didn't play pro hockey. I don't have a $150 million company behind me. All right. And plus, I can't even understand half the shit they say because when RA starts talking, I can't understand the fuck. Now we got our own guy that I can't understand. It's going to be fucking great.
There you go.
And they're good guys. Don't get me wrong. Like I grew up. Whit's a great guy. I've known him, for a long, long time. We played. He's a couple of years younger than I was, but he. Talk about a phenomenal hockey player. Whit was. The kid was when he was out there. It looked like he just glided on the ice. I got to play high school hockey against him. Played on some, all-star teams with him. I've known him for a long time. So, I played against Biz in the minors. They're great guys. So, I have no issue with them. They're top-notch guys.
Well, here's the deal. Basically, what this is going to come down to is when we start doing hockey podcast, we're going to have to fight them. So, great guys, you're going to have to fight them eventually. It might not be soon.
With Biz, I don't know. Biz can go.
Well, okay. Well, you take Wit. If you can take Wit, we got 3 other on Biz. Maybe we got something going, and maybe we add more. We don't tell them we're bringing 5 or 6 to the
we're bringing in reinforcements.
Yeah, we're not gonna fight. Listen, you're in Boston. They don't fight fair in Boston. They do whatever it takes to win. That's what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just gotta hand Biz a shot of alcohol. I used to run into him at the clubs in Scottsdale before I moved out. It's like, hey, you Whiskey Row, you doing a country bar thing? That's really tough of you, Biz.
Yeah. All right. Well, perfect. Well, so Nick's gonna be our resident pro guy. He's on today. He's gonna join us in a bigger role as we go along. Like I said, this is our first time that I've actually talked to him. I didn't even know he had the Boston accent. I gathered deductive reasoning from my conversations with him. And he's gonna help us with getting some pro interviews on here to get some actual real hockey players. None of us fucking benders. Like me and Jess and Kev.
Absolutely.
We're trying to get Kev back on the ice, but this guy, fuck. But so Nick, tell us a little bit about. I was telling people that you played some NCAA hockey at Merrimack, and then you played in the ECHL. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about you and your hockey history?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, I'm originally from Boston, Mass. I actually grew up in a little town. I originally grew up in the North End, and then I moved out of there to a place called Canton. Mother, father, they were from that area as well too. So it was a great town. It's actually a really strong hockey community. Guys like Kevin Rooney, who's playing for the Rangers right now. He's from my hometown. We've had a couple other guys that have, come from there that have played at really high level. Joe Rooney played at Boston College. We've had a lot of high level guys come out of that town. So it's kind of been a hockey hotbed. I was lucky enough to go to a private school called St. Sebastian's, where I got to play with guys like Ricky DiPietro, who I've known since I was 10 years old, number 1 overall draft pick, Mikey Pandolfo, Kyle Corazzini, Noah Welch. This goes on and on. From there, I also played some really high level hockey, US Team USA, went to Europe, all that type, selects, all that type of stuff. Played on some really great teams with guys like Mike Motto, who won the Hobie Baker. It was lucky enough to have that as my career. I was on the cover of Hockey Night in Boston Magazine, won all New England, all league defenseman in the ISL 3 years, all New England defenseman my senior year. Lucky enough, I started getting some offers collegiately. I went to Merrimack College on a full ride. It was kind of a thing where, my sister was really sick, so they came up with a lot of money, and it was an opportunity for me to play Division I college hockey and Hockey East, and there was no way I could turn it down. I was on with the all-rookie team. I was an alternate on my freshman year, played all 4 years, was captain my senior year. After that, played a little bit in the Coast, had a cup of coffee in the American League, but it was really, that was preseason stuff. Played mostly in the Coast, the Southern League as well, too. Unfortunately, I had 7 shoulder surgeries and 2 knee surgeries. So it was time to kind of, unfortunately, hang them up. And I got out of the game for a little bit, got into business, and found myself coming back. And I'm now an advisor with a pretty big company, and I'm also a junior coach as well too. And so pretty excited about my future, and really looking forward to talking to you guys. It's been great talking to Nikki here, and I really like what you guys have been doing and stuff. So really happy to be here, and I'd love to answer any questions, tell stories, get some cool people on. I mean, been lucky enough to have some really, really fantastic guys, not just players, but as people too. So I hope I can bring a little bit here to this podcast here and see what I can do to help you guys out and really get this moving here.
Yeah, for sure. I also see, obviously, I see the vowel at the end of your last name, and I see that you had like 3 games over in Italy. What was that all about?
Yeah, I went there. So I'm an Italian citizen. I have dual citizenship. Yeah, I have dual citizenship between here and Italy. So I have 2 passports. I have 65 first cousins that all live in the same neighborhood up in Boston, right? They have the Italian festivals. I don't know if anyone's been to Boston. They have the Italian festivals up there. I belong to the Madonna della Cava. It's the second weekend in Boston. My great-grandfather brought it over from Sicily, and they just named a whole square, after my grandfather in Boston. So I come from a big Italian family, and I was actually over there because I was up for the Olympic team. The Olympics were in 2006 in Torino. Yeah, the Olympics were up there in 2006. So Team Italy had a team in there. Unfortunately, my sister was really sick, and I was really having a tough time being away from that situation. And, my mom and father, they really wanted me to stay kind of thing, but I needed to be back closer to home. So I came back, signed a deal with the Coast, and, in Louisiana, which I loved playing there. It was cool over there. I mean, it was right in the beginning where that league started really getting picked up, played in a place called Varese, which was really great. I mean, it was cool to play there, but, right after my senior year, once my season ended, I don't know. Have you guys ever heard the story about Joey Exter?
Nope.
No. Okay. Joey, this is an important story. It's not a funny story or anything. It's actually kind of it's a crazy story. So Joey Exter, he's was the assistant coach in Michigan State, and now he's coaching in the Coast. He was our goaltender, and he was one of my closest friends, and he's like a brother to me. We were roommates, the whole thing. Well, we're playing Boston College in the hockey championships. Joey comes out to play the puck, and Patty Eves, who played in Detroit, runs him over. And when he ran him over, he fell and he cracked his head on the ice, and he put him into a coma for like 3 months. He almost died, the whole thing. And it was a really scary situation. It really was. Yeah. That happened the first night. It was best of 3. First night, second night, we had to play again. That second night, we're hearing, as seniors, we're really close, me, Luke Smith. We didn't know if he was going to make it that night. So we played anyways, and I decided, and I wasn't sure if I was going to leave because I was getting offers from the Coast, right after your senior year, getting offers from the Coast, getting offers, to play here, there, wherever. I went, and, with the blessing of Mr. and Mrs. Extra, because I didn't want to go. I wanted to be by his bedside and everything. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I got their blessing to leave. So I left and I went and played in Louisiana for the Ice Skaters. And it was awesome in the East Coast Hockey League. And I loved it there. So the year after, when I came back from Italy, they wanted me back. So I got a chance to go back there, played a little bit there, and then went to Greenville. And then again, my sister got really sick and had to go home for a bit. And then my shoulder blew out. And unfortunately, my pro career wasn't as great as the career I would have liked. I had high expectations, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
Well, the good news is it doesn't matter how good your pro career is. You'll always end up in the beer league with us.
Yeah, hey, you know what I mean? You can't blame it. And guys, I've seen some crazy stuff in beer leagues. Don't, forget about it. It's not even right.
Yeah. Hell yeah, there's some crazy shit that goes on. Well, I brought you on. I brought you up first. I'm sorry to hear about your sister, and obviously, the career. Obviously, you want to go as far as you can, but for me, I always think you end up right where you're supposed to be. And right now, you're doing a little bit of coaching, or trying to get back into coaching, and so maybe that's the calling for you. But I brought you in because you mentioned it. You've seen some crazy shit. We want to hear about some crazy shit.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know Nikki was saying maybe some locker room stuff. I mean, guys, I've got stories from from great players. I mean, I don't want to use too many names. That's the one thing, right? I mean, that's the one thing, because I've got some great guys, and obviously they're married now with kids and stuff like that. So, I might not name some names, but I got some really good shit to talk about and funny stuff. I mean, I've got locker room stories. We could sit here for hours and tell, right? I mean, I played with one kid that, everyone's got their pregame ritual, right? And I'm talking, this kid played Division I at Boston College, went on to the pros, played in the NHL, the whole thing. And one of his pregame rituals is that he used to like when you go into a locker room, it's got the rubber on the bottom, right? It usually, in those kind of beer, rubber and everything like that for your skates. The way he used to tape his stick, he used to put his pants down. He used to his balls. He used to hit the rubber, the wet rubber. And he used to sit there with his balls on the rubber while he would tape his stick. And that was a big game ritual, right? I never understood it. I don't know why I wouldn't want my ball. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like my balls on something wet, but I'm not sure if it would be great, to do something like that, right?
Was he a goalie by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't.
Really? See, now that's shocking.
That would make sense, right, Kate?
Yeah, that would
it would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. And here's what I want to know. Obviously, I don't want names unless you still talk to him. I hope you do, because I want you to just ask me, like, hey, I'm doing this beer league show. It's funny, haha. I'm not going to mention your name if you don't want me to. Why? We want to know why. Like what? Like was it just that's what?
I asked. Nikki, I asked. We asked. Why? And he said he just liked the feeling of a typical hockey answer. That it was the easiest explanation it was. He just liked the feeling of the wet, cold rubber on his balls.
And at what point do you discover that?
Yeah,
exactly. And and he's a Boston kid too, so it doesn't surprise me. The Boston guys, every time you go to a team, they're always a little off, right?
Well, I mean, I think at some point, I've talked to some pro hockey players, and they say, like, hey, here's the deal, like. There's people, like, I made it to the NHL, but there's people that are so much better than me that didn't make it. And the reason why is because just the people that make it to that next level just have something about them. There's something off about them somewhere down, and it just gives them that extra whatever to be, to make it. And so, this guy's extra was he just liked his balls on wet rubber, right?
That's all it was. That's what I'm saying. There was no jest. There was no answer. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, I did it one time and I had, 8 goals. It just was what it was. You know what I mean? Typical hockey nonsense.
Yeah. Are you down stretching? You get out of the shower, you're naked, and you're like, okay, well, I'm down.
And he's like,
might as well.
Yeah, and he's like,
I might as well be on the floor right now.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, that feels great. I'm going to continue to do that, which is fine.
These pieces of dirt and people spit to just touch my balls as I'm stretching here. Yeah, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue.
We're in no judgment zone. We don't judge people.
No,
we like
kind of curious to try it now, to be honest with you.
I to Boston College, and then he was drafted, full ride to Boston College, played in the show. I mean, the whole thing, right?
So maybe that's what you need. If you want to make it to the bigs, boys and girls, Just rub the balls on the rubber.
Get
Balls
your
on the rubber. Mhm.
You know
When
what
I
I
go to
mean?
That's my new rallying cry at games.
Go up against the wall and rub my T-word things up against the wall and be like, do I like
My
this?
T-word things.
You're not allowed to say that, right?
Oh, that's right.
We have,
That's
like,
right.
we have like 2 66-year-old people that caused some bullshit because we said something about boobies, and now you got to call them T-words. Come on.
Nick, did that kid still do that in the NHL? To your knowledge?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's
Okay, I
different.
was
You
just
get the rug.
curious.
In the show, you get the rug, right?
Oh, that's true. It's a rug. Yeah, yeah.
It's a little different, but it wouldn't
A little
be
chafing, I would think.
You could still see him out there, because then what it changed to, was that when you had the rug there. So then what I heard and what I talked to him and stuff, he changed it from the rubber to when you get out of the shower, it's got the tile, right? The little tiles.
Mhm.
He would just sit there with his balls on the tile instead.
Okay. Well,
Cool. Hey, the
To
more
each their
own.
you know. The more you know. This doesn't
the
happen.
more
in
you
beer
know.
league.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's a great.
Beer, the more you know.
Oh, and there's other good ones too, Nikki. I mean, I played with one kid too, brother. I was lucky enough to play with, God rest his soul, was Derek Bugard.
The old boogie.
I got a chance to play with him. So we were playing in the coast. And this isn't like a grosser, but I always think this is an amazing story, when it comes to fighters, because I love my fighters, right? I mean, they're my boys. They're the guys that, they're absolute warriors. And I still talk to a lot of them. I still are good friends with Nasty Morasti. I just talked to Yabo, Jeremy Yablonsky the other day. If you don't know him, you need to, and you like fighters, YouTube his videos, because that man is one of the best fighters you'll ever see. Mikey Segroy, great guy. Denis Shiriev. I mean, these are guys that I talk to constantly, and they're really good guys. And we were playing in the coast with Boogie, and so I come in the locker room, right? And I see Boogie, and he's got his arms, like he's sitting like this, right? And he's got his arms like in between his legs, like down, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like gravity. So, I mean, the kid's got ham hocks for hands anyways, right? I mean, his fists are like this. So all of a sudden, I see the trainer, after he's sitting there for a good, 15, 20 minutes like that, not moving. I see the trainer come in, and he starts taping his arms from his elbow down. You get what I'm saying? As tight as the kid can do it, right? And I'm looking and I'm going, what's he doing? I find out, I forget who we were playing, but he was fighting. There was somebody he had to fight, and like right off the rip, like I'm talking first 45 seconds, minute into the game, he was going to fight this kid. And the reason he did it was because when he pulled up his hand after the trainer did it, his fist, I mean, it looked like a bowling ball, because all the blood rushed into his hand, right, from sitting there so long. So he taped it as hard as he could. I'm talking, his fist was purple and swollen and thing. He hit this kid.
I hope my boyfriend's not listening, getting any ideas here.
He hit this kid so hard with that fist that the kid, he just popped, right? Blood all over the ice. And Boogie comes back to the thing, and he takes it off, and you could see it. It just automatically swells down. It was one of the most cool. I mean, I thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, seeing Boogie, he was a great fighter, great guy, great locker room guy. But, sometimes with his hockey skills, and he would be the first guy to tell you, it wasn't his hockey skills that got him to the NHL, right?
Yeah.
So we're in practice, probably the day after, I think it was morning skate the day after, right? Because we're playing the same team again. So he just did that, right? His arms all, tied up the night before, blah, blah, blah. So he goes to catch a pass, and his arm was still like numb. I don't know what he did. He still
I believe it.
You know what I'm saying? So he went to go catch a pass, and instead of catching the pass, he kind of towed it. He towed his stick. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the puck hit his stick, and it came up and it popped him in the mouth, and it knocked out 3 of his teeth. So he's sitting on the bench like this, right? And he couldn't, and that night he had to fight again. So. I mean, just stories like that, guys. I mean, those are just some of them. I've got better, dirtier ones too. Things like, cookie races and stuff like that. Rookie parties.
You're trying to pull me in here. You're trying to. I said we'll give you 5 minutes. We've given him 15, which is fine. But he's hit me with the cookie story at the end, so I'll ask about it. Cookie races.
You guys don't know what a cookie race is?
No, hit us with the cookie. Okay, here we go. We're gonna be educated.
Not know what this is, but go for it.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. So, this is kind of a thing. It's a cookie race, and I know I'm probably breaking, a hockey code here, but it's a cookie race, and it's something that rookies, especially in college, we are subject to. And what it is you put a bucket. Each kid's got a bucket at the end of it's one bucket, one bucket. And I'd say, I don't know, a good 100 feet, 200 feet, that type of thing. Right. So all of them line up and they give you an Oreo cookie and you got to put it up your ass, like in between your ass cheeks, and you got to squeeze it and you got to run up and back like 3 times. Right. And then you have to drop it in the bucket.
Nice.
If you drop it, you got to eat it. And the last guy that loses, you got to eat all the cookies. So I never lost. I promise you, I never lost. And my ass kept that thing tight.
You said you're covering that pretty quickly. Are you sure you didn't lose at least one?
I never ate an ass cookie. I promise. I swear.
Hey, listen, now guys are lining up saying it's ass eating season. So I maybe ass cookies aren't as big of a deal back then. That's
makes sense.
Do you think there's still rookie haze like in today's like cancel culture and everything going on? Like, are they still rookie hazing? They have to be, right?
Yeah, it's not as bad. I mean, especially with safe sport. And don't get me wrong, guys. I mean, the problem is cameras, right? Everything's caught, right? And it's a big thing. And I think it's a good thing not to have things in locker rooms with cameras 100%, meaning you shouldn't have cameras. The hazing that I went through, I don't think is done now. Like everything transitions, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still there. I mean, you're still paying for dinners. You're still doing certain things.
It takes on a different look, I guess.
It's definitely not what it was, Nikki. Put it that way. But, at the same time too, right? Like, yeah, was I, hazed as a rookie? Was I hazed as a freshman? That type of thing. Yeah, but it was a rite of passage, mm-hmm. right? I mean, I had my senior, right? Yeah, I had my senior, Jess, or I had my vet that watched my back, made sure I knew what I needed to do, what I, it played well. If I had, an issue here, an issue there, they had your back. And the guys that, decided to fight against that, they had a little bit of a rougher time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to pay your dues. It's got to happen. I mean, they did it. Why can't I do it? Who am I to say that I'm not going to do it? Right.
Yeah. It's weird in like in the politically correct world we're in now. Like, I know there are a lot of things that aren't kosher now that used to be like not a big deal. And it's like, I think what's the show that set back in the 70s, the high school kids, and Matthew McConaughey is Dazed and Confused. The show opens up with the seniors with the paddles and chasing around the freshmen, right? And that stuff used to happen. Again, it just used to happen, and it was just like you said, it was a rite of passage. This is what happened, and you took your lumps. And like I played high school football and baseball, and played baseball in college, and the same thing. Like you took your lumps from the seniors, but then you were there, right? And it just for me, I never had to ask Cookie anything, Go
ahead, Nikki. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. I mean, it's just weird how, in today's day and age, like some of those things that we thought weren't that big of a deal now. Like if you did it these days, it'd be. And you're right. A lot of it is cameras and people seeing it, and it's not necessarily the people that are doing the ass cookie races that are offended. It's someone out in the real world.
Did anybody get sick from the ass cookies? Like, was there any pink eye?
No.
Oh,
if this episode is not named Ass Cookies, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm just going to say that right now.
Ass cookie. Listen, we got in trouble last week because we named our episode Boobies, Lips, PP, and Ass, BLPA, right? And we had some 60-year-olds that were offended by that. and they're probably going to be offended by ass cookies, but I'm naming it ass cookies.
Has to
Maybe
be. I mean,
you know,
it's,
you know what we'll do. So we'll be politically correct. We'll call it butt cookies.
no.
We're good.
I'm
It
not
has to
voting
be
for
No,
that.
ass
no, Zero. No. It's got to be ass cookies.
I agree.
Ass cookies.
Nick has spoken.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was told, okay, you can talk about the stuff, but make the titles a little cleaner. And so it's kind of, you know, I'm getting overruled here, right? I'm going to take the heat, but I'm going to take the heat for you guys because I believe in the freedom of speech and
Right.
doing things because it's funny and it, you know, makes people laugh. So
Yeah. And was
Ass
ass
cookies
like
is-
the most offensive word of that title? Was it boobies? Was it pee-pee? Well, I feel like it was lips. So as long as we
It
don't
was
put the word
lips.
lips in there, we should be good.
that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Geriatric
Someone,
ass
the
cookies. Perfect.
people listening to us said it should be geriatric ass cookies. So it's inclusive to those 60-year-olds that,
Oh, yeah.
that are pissed off. So,
Yeah.
all right, Nick, listen, great stories. We're going to have you back on. We'll try to do it every week. It really just
Yeah,
depends
for
on your
sure.
schedule. We record every week. And like I was telling people before, you know, you're going to open the door to get some pro level hockey players that we can interview and talk about. And I'm going to start every one of them by asking, have you ever did cookie races just to see?
Yeah. Have you ever
Now-
eaten an ass cookie?
Hey, listen, and we'll say, and I'll say, you don't have to answer if you think it'll get you in trouble, but blink once if you've done a cookie race.
Well, guys,
And
it
we'll
was
go
a
there.
pleasure. You know, thanks for having me. Really, it
Yeah,
was
nice to
awesome.
meet you, Nick.
Hope to see you
Yeah,
again and keep
nice
it
to meet
real
you.
and keep it down with Boston. All right.
All
right, thanks, Nick.
Talk later, buddy.
See you
All right,
guys.
see ya.
Bye,
Bye.
Nick.
How
What
are
a
we gonna
guy.
top
That's
that?
Yeah. What?
So like,
yeah.
who's gonna go and like raid their pantry for Oreos tonight? Just me.
Yeah. Hey,
Just to see, just to try it, you know?
have you noticed? Like, I knew he was gonna have the Boston accent just by looking at him because he was wearing that hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same hat that the Dropkick Murphy guy wears. Like, I love that guy. Like, I've been to their concert. Like, we do a tournament in Boston on St. Patty's Day, so we'll be there again this year. And the Dropkick boys are always you know, doing concerts in there, and the show is awesome. The guy that runs that band, like, he's one of the coolest dudes. He loves hockey. It's just a great time, and I love Boston. And I didn't want to pump Boston's tires too much while Nick was in here, but Boston is my favorite U.S. city. 100%. It's my favorite U.S. city to visit, to go hang out at, and to play hockey. And so, yeah, I mean, people are loving Nick. Like, I'm looking here on the
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
that, you know,
they're
than
trying to
the
get me
fight.
fired. Which
Yeah.
who is Kyle? Is this guy? Who is this
yeah,
idiot?
no, Kyle
Like,
is
he's my
that's Big Dad is actually what we call him.
Big Dad.
He's a guy that helps. He's a staff with the tournament, slings a bunch of our merch, and just a great guy. But he definitely says Boston Nick is better than Ficus Kev. And listen, it's I think they're both good. They just work in different.
I don't know who the fuck you are. Am I supposed to? Do I know this guy?
Well, you do now.
He says,
You do now.
You know who.
So
He's
Yeah.
definitely he definitely likes to make fun of me, which I'm comfortable with.
listen,
He's
hey,
not
Yeah,
he's not the Blue
absolutely.
Jacket fan, is he?
yeah, he is.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think he's
boy.
still. I think he's still like we play a lot of video games, and I think he's still got his username is like Sergey Bobrovsky. Like, he's still a big Bob fan. I'm like, he's not even in Columbus anymore. So what are you gonna do? So Carolyn, listen. Here's the deal, and obviously Carolyn knows Kyle, right? She's a great guy. Listen, I'm trying to appeal to everyone, Carolyn.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't
Even
know
the
if-
Kyles of the world.
Yeah, and I think at
the
the end
male
of the day,
equivalent.
Which isn't
Karen.
easy to do, like morally, you know?
yeah.
Right.
Listen, Carolyn, you don't work at Facebook anymore. You can't get us booted off here for fake news. All right. So, or at least don't call any of your friends. We need to stay online here. All right. Here's what we're gonna do now. I know we just heard stories from Nick, pro hockey stories, but we're gonna go into our. Oh no, actually, before we go into this, is our segue into pro hockey stories. Is the Missing Curfew Cup? Have you guys heard about this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what Missing Curfew is? It's another fellow hockey podcast, basically in the same vein as Spit and Chicklets, right? So it's Scotty Upshaw. I think he played for the Blackhawks at one point. It's Shane O'Brien, who played for a number of teams. I know he's in the Flames organization for a year, and they also used to have Jimmy Hayes on their rip. But they do a podcast, and they're trying to give beer leaguers like us a national league hockey experience, right? Like, it's basically this: you land at the airport, they come get your bags, they take your hockey bags to the rink. You don't have to see your hockey bags for this tournament. You just show up and play. They got massage people in the room. They got laundry service. They're trying to do it right. They're trying to make us feel like we're in the bigs, right? So I say, like Wayne Gretzky has his fantasy camp for whatever, but no one wants to be like that scumbag Wayne Gretzky. They want to be like, the NHLers that are playing every day. They're going to locker room and they're doing it in Vegas and they're doing it in March. And they said, hey, listen, you guys are the people we want there, people like you in the BLPA. And so I said, hey, listen, I love the idea. I'm a tournament guy myself. And so I want to help you guys spread the word. So listen, it's expensive. It's not cheap. It's $15,000 a team. But the good news is, the good news is, well, the good news is you can get companies to sponsor you, and you're going to go on their podcast. Their podcast has 50,000 downloads a week or something like that. Like, it's insane numbers. And so you're going to get, the sponsors are going to get bang for their buck. They're going to go out to a bunch of hockey fans. And so if they want to make it every year, and that's what I told them. If you would have given me more than a couple of months here, I could have put something together and had a BLPA team, which would have been funny to have the Beer League Players Association having the National Hockey League or National League Hockey experience, right? And so I just said, I'm going to spread the word. I think this is a cool thing. I know what people are going to say. They're going to say it's too fucking expensive. I get it. That's what they're going to say. But I think we can change that culture and we can make this a really cool thing for them. And you can go out and play with some guys that were in the NHL. And I'm looking. I just want to make sure I'm covering all the bases. You can have. It says it's 4-on-4 overtime. I think you can have 12 or 14 players on everything. They're playing at City National Arena. Detail wise, are you? I was just there last weekend too.
Yeah, the complex out in the west side of Las Vegas.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's a good place. But you get up to 5 games. You show up to Vegas. They handle the gear, dedicated team locker rooms, full laundry service, player intros every game. So you skate out and they're like, and now number 10, Nick Fleard. And then you skate out and all that good stuff. Exactly. And then they have like a team space and the on-site trainers and massages, a player's lounge, and just a bunch of really cool shit. You get jerseys and socks, team swag kit, and then you get a content reel of people that came out and they video and make a highlight package of your team. So it's a really cool thing. And I want to be involved in it. I'm trying to get more involved in it. And I told them I'll do whatever I can to help. Cause this is the kind of shit that beer leaguers, this is what we didn't get. We're not good at hockey, but we want to feel like we are. We want to pretend sometimes that we are. Right. And so basically right there. And John Andre asked, do you think they'll have ass cookies for a $15K price? Yes.
I think that's a fair question.
100%. And I'm going to be on this podcast, this Missing Curfew podcast, I believe. And I'm going to ask them. I'm going to say,
I think that's a valid question.
I'm going to say, do you guys know what cookie races are? Because I had a guy that came in on our show and was just talking about cookie races. And so we'll see. We'll see if Nick is leading us astray. And I'm going to say, I'm going to go on record and say, I trust Nick. Anybody with that name is a good guy for sure.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of people who make shit up.
Okay. Like I told you earlier, you never let the truth get in the way of a good story. He could be one of those guys. He could be a professional bullshitter. I don't know. Right?
I don't know.
So, but anyway, so that leads us into beer leaguers going to play in the pro level experience with the Missing Curfew Cup. Go check the guys out. And that's you can check them out at Missing Curfew. They have a couple podcasts a week, but the website is Missing Curfew Cup. Go check them out. And people are loving cookie races, boys. Like they're basically fuck the laundry service. We just want cookie race. Cookie races are bust.
I'm pretty good at a beer mile, so like I feel like this cookie race.
I think this is something. Like,
we start doing.
People say they want
showers mandatory, like first.
Yeah,
I mean, only because of like it's post.
No, it's got to be right after. It's got to be right after a game or a practice. No shower.
Yeah, because at that point, then you don't want to lose. Then there's something on the line, right?
Yeah, then you got something to play for. Yeah.
So
soggy cookie races. Okay.
So sweaty cookie races. Thank you very much.
Sweaty, very sweaty.
We're gonna go into our bombing for Bedard segment. All our stuff about NHL talk. Here we are. And listen, the people are right. I am a big locker room guy. I will set the races up. I will watch people. Make sure everything goes to plan. Make sure everyone's playing by the rules. That's what I do. But anyway, we're gonna do our bombing for Bedard segment here. It's basically around the NHL, and Kev's that guy for us. Kev, take it away.
Yeah, this week's bombing for Bedard. My Blackhawks decided to win 3 in a row and 6 of their last 10 and moved dangerously close to being out of the bottom 3. They have passed the mighty Columbus Blue Jackets, who are 3-6-1 in their last 10. They're tied in points with the Ducks at 31. The Ducks are technically in last right now and in a great position to land the coveted prospect. Arizona, San Jose, and Vancouver are the next 3 and are still capable of getting their tank on to
Yeah,
drop
we
in
are.
the standings. Yes. So still some room there, but that's where we currently stand on bombing from Bedard. Speaking of Vancouver, some other NHL news that everyone's, of course, heard. The Canucks fired coach Bruce Boudreau after going 18-25-3 this season. Boudreau amassed a 50-40-13 record in 103 games with the Canucks. The team hired Rick Tocchet as their new head coach. The fans are furious because Bruce was a favorite. They even had
not just the fans of the Canucks, like hockey fans in general. Like
Right.
they treated
Yeah.
him like shit for one.
they treated him like shit, and that so the for those who don't know, the Canucks brass has been criticized with how they handled the situation. The rumors had been swirling for months that they wanted to go in a different direction. Tockett's name came up at some point. Then it kind of became the worst kept secret in the NHL that they would be firing Boudreau in favor of Tocchet, and they just strung him along for quite a while now. So, I mean, I think we can all agree that the way they handled it was a bunch of shit. But was the
Right.
coaching change warranted based on the fact that they're currently 18-25-3, and also the big thing was that they felt like he supposedly wasn't developing the young players at a fast enough rate.
Well, listen. Okay, one, when you look at Tocchet and when you look him up online, it shows a picture, and he wore one of the ugliest Jofa helmets known to man. So he obviously gets negative points from me for that. But okay, so he's not developing the players. Like Tocchet was a coach of the Arizona Coyotes, and maybe even when they were I don't
Exactly
know.
my point. I mean,
But-
they did greatness under Tocchet.
Yeah, and they had
They're going
nothing
down in
but
history for
they had
that.
nothing but young good players. Who the fuck did he develop? Right. And so
Yeah.
what's the point? Like, and that's the whole problem with the, I mean, actually, Arizona's going to get Bedard, just like they're going to get Matthews. This is written in stone. Like
It's written in stone now. Oh,
I went to the future and I saw it, and I'm coming back and I'm reporting this, and you guys can be like, God damn, that Nick. And when it happens,
Kevin and I were linked to that, and we're like, okay.
I have a clip, and it says Nick Stradamus has spoken, and we're going to play that when it happens, right?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, what's the deal with the old boys club? Like, why keep these coaches that were not? I'm literally looking at his. I'm looking at his shit. 2008 Tampa Bay out of the playoffs. 2009 Tampa Bay out of the fucking playoffs. Arizona Coyotes 2017. He was an assistant with the Penguins between that. Then he's head coach at the Coyotes out of the playoffs. Head coach for the Coyotes out of the playoffs. Head coach for the Coyotes. Oh, they lost the first round.
He took him to the playoffs like for the
He
first
did the
time
first
in
round.
years. Yeah.
He literally has a winning percentage. He literally has a winning percentage of like 450.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
What
kind of where
is-
I don't understand. It's like,
what
why
are they
do you
doing?
sell somebody that's loved by so many, not just the fans, but your players. Like
The
that's
players,
why Rod
yeah. The
Brind'Amour
players
did
are
it.
like they're all beating themselves up because they feel like they let him down.
Right. Like Rod
Yeah.
Brind'Amour gets voted the All-Star coach. It's because his players love him and they want to play for him. And like as a coach, like you want your players to want to play for you. And they had that with Vancouver. And they dish him after a year and put him in like, okay, look, like my Coyotes are my Coyotes, and it's like they're just like the lovable losers, like the Cubs were for 100-something years. So like
108, Jess. 108.
Mhm.
So 200, okay. So like, look, if your players want to play for the guy, it does take some time to develop. It takes some time for that camaraderie to hit.
Yeah.
But no, they're just like, meh, you didn't do well enough in like 20 days. Hey, you're out of here.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, right? And then you think, well, is there something that the media did? Because you look at like
Right.
even like Daryl Sutter. Like Daryl Sutter has been in the news this week as well because of the way he handled Jakob Peltier. I think it's Jakob Peltier. Like the Flames, the first player born in the 2000s to play for the Calgary Flames. And he came in and they asked him how he did, and I thought he played great for first time. Like he's been a point per game in the AHL for 2 years, only 21 years old. And Sutter did typical Sutter shit where he's like, oh, who? Oh, what's his number? 29? Oh, he's got a long way to go. And people
I
just
saw that interview. Yeah.
And people just ripped on Sutter for being a dick. And listen, Sutter's a dick to everybody. So I get it. And I probably wouldn't have handled it that way if I was the head coach, but I also get what he was doing in terms of he probably told the kid, you played great. I like it. And then he's taking the spotlight off him because he knows how bright the Canadian spotlight could be. So I get it. But the media has just taken it and just fucking blown it up. Like it has been insane. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of the media is that they create a narrative, whether it's right or wrong, and they push that narrative. And the narrative isn't always right. The narrative is what will get the most people to go, oh my God, you're right. And I've got to post about it online. The same way with Provo. We're going to talk about Provo, right? Same thing, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well, with Boudreau, though, I feel like there had to have been something else I know that
too.
he met with the GM a few times, and they weren't seeing eye to eye. And, you know, a lot of times, and I'm just speculating here, but a lot of times when that shit happens, it's the GM wants him to play certain people or move something around or bring up someone who the coach feels isn't ready. And the coach is like, I'm not fucking playing him. You know, he's not ready to play, or he's not the right guy for this line or whatever. And I think that I don't know anything about the GM, but maybe he's, you know, he didn't like being told no. You know,
Right.
clearly they were not on the same page though.
Yeah, I mean that could
money's
be
on
an
the
issue.
line.
Yeah.
Money, but I think that could. There are a lot of GMs that should just be the coach too, because they want to play the coach. But it is what it is. But
And that's a
Well, like
problem.
when
That is a
Gretzky
big
was
problem.
Coyotes,
it is. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway,
That
yeah,
went
they did owe Bruce dirty, and you know it's not right. But
Yeah.
not really much else we can say about that. On to
Yeah,
the
it's a
next.
bummer. I'm sure he'll get other offers. He's a great coach. He's been in the league a long time. But you alluded to it before. Finally, we're going to discuss something else. Unless you spent the last week living in a remote cave, you know about the Ivan Provorov drama. But for all you cave dwellers out there, the Philly D-man opted not to participate in the Flyers Pride Night, where the team wore Pride Night themed jerseys during warmups as the organization celebrated and supported the LGBTQ plus community with its annual initiative. Provorov opted to skip warmups because he is Russian Orthodox, and he cited his religious beliefs as the reason for not participating. Obviously, this has caused quite the stir. Many supporters of the LGBTQ plus community feel his decision to take this stand goes against basic human rights. Some felt he should even be scratched from the game, fined, or suspended. And those who are religious and many on the right applaud the decision. His jersey sold out in the past week. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but you actually
No,
can't
I
get
did not.
you can't get one of his jerseys right now. So it's a polarizing story. But
It is.
you know, what say you guys? Let's start with Jess, because we know Nick's going to talk for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Nick's just like, yeah, pretty much.
Why
Look,
started
like,
the show?
I know it's a career, right? It's a job, but like if I were to go to my job and my job was like, hey, you need to like preach these beliefs on our behalf and you've got a religion, and I was like, hey, like my religion is X, Y, and Z, they'd be like, okay, you do you. Like if you need to sit this one out, you do you. And like I think most of us, and like I've worked for a family owned company, like I'm not public, like we're not publicly traded by any means, but even like a bigger company would probably be the same way. Like if it's your religious beliefs, like if you want to sit out, you can do that. And I think they made the right decision that was like, okay, well, like if you don't want to participate in any of this, then like do what you got to do. And he sat out. It's not like he went to the warmups and like wore a different jersey and made it obvious to everyone else. Like
one with a big cross on it or something.
Yeah, like he just like casually sat out, and you wouldn't really know unless you're and like you're gonna. Oh, sorry, moving my microphone here. But you're like looking at the players, and you're like, okay, like, oh, you know, he's not here today. So, like at the end of the day, we all have jobs, right? And we all are gonna have our own beliefs and like religions and whatnot. And so, it's not like, yeah, I think it was a fair play. I think you're entitled to believe what you're going to believe. And it's not like he made a big stink about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like my own personal beliefs are my own personal beliefs. I'm not going to bring them up here because like, I don't want to polarize anyone, but like, I don't think he really did. It just was obvious because he's a public figure.
Yeah. Okay. There are a number of points to hit on. I'm kind of reading through the comments, and one Karen says it's not really preaching beliefs though. It's wearing rainbow colors to signal inclusion to others. If they ask him to suck D at center ice, I'd agree he can decline for his beliefs.
Unless it's in his contract.
Yeah. Well, if you sign a contract saying you're sucking D at center ice, then you got to do it, right?
You signed it.
For me, listen, I see both sides here, and this is another thing about having a podcast. You have to be careful how you approach this, because you don't want anything to be taken in a different. And let me go and say, I support equality for everybody. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are, what you are, who you do, who you believe. If you're a good human being, you're cool, right? That's all I want. And I can see on the side of the people that are offended here is that it isn't about pressing being gay or that onto anyone. It's preaching, hey, it doesn't matter if you're gay, you're still included here.
It's equality.
Absolutely.
It's equality.
And that's what it's preaching. And it's where this to show, hey, we just want everyone to be equal. And so when he opted out of that, people are upset. But on the other side, I'm a live and let live guy. I don't care what you do as long as you're a good person and you don't negatively impact someone else, cause physical harm or whatever, right? And I'm not, people didn't want to get the vaccine, didn't care. I got the vaccine because I wanted it. But I believe if it's your choice, you should have a right to live in that choice and be free from any kind of persecution from making that choice. And so I can see it from Provorov's side is that, hey, this is what he believes, and he believes in it, to the effect that he thought that this was a good move. And he wasn't hurting anybody. He wasn't going out and, preaching anti-gay and all that stuff. He just said, I don't want to take part. It's not what I like. So I understand both sides. I don't understand where wearing a rainbow jersey would go against your religion. But again, I don't know what religion he is.
Russian Orthodox.
I still don't know what those beliefs are, but
I don't either. I didn't deep dive that one.
Yeah. So for me, it's just, he's not hurting anybody. It's just like the people that were kneeling for the anthem, which Torch did have a problem with. Like Torch went off the board.
I heard somebody else compare those, Nick, and I don't think they're the same. And the reason is because one of them is a peaceful protest. Is a peaceful protest against police brutality, against racism and all that. Another one is essentially not recognizing someone as being a group of people as being equal. Now, again, I'm with you, Nick. I can see both sides to this. I mean, he didn't come out in some sort of like fucking ridiculous jersey. He didn't spread hate. He didn't say anything until, I don't even know. I think he said something after the game that was very, very diplomatic, was not, aggressive or trying to start shit or anything like that. But, at the same time, I don't think you can compare it because he's not necessarily, he's not standing up for someone's rights by doing that. In my mind, I get religious freedom. I understand that. Me personally, anyone who listens to my other podcast knows I am very much not religious, and I don't like it being used. I'd rather have dialogue based in facts and stuff that's in front of you rather than religion. But, it's his prerogative to have those feelings. But I mean, he could have worn the jersey and I don't think God would have smited him or anything like that.
Well, I think the hard part is like you say, based in facts. And I'm also on that same level. Like, I believe there is a higher being, but I don't believe that if I'm not a Christian or a Catholic, I don't believe that I'm going to go to hell. But to these people, those are their facts. And I know that's weird to say to people that don't believe it, but there are people that believe that, believe that kind of stuff wholeheartedly. And for me, it's, I don't care what you believe, as long as you're a good person and you don't affect other people negatively, like you don't cause bodily harm, you're free to do what you do. Like you have a choice, and then you live within that choice. As long as you're not telling me I have to believe in your choice because of this, because if you want choice, you have to give everyone else choice.
Yeah. Oh, right? Me and my family, we've good conversations around this every holiday we get together. Absolutely. It's like, you want to try to be like the golden rule, right? Like treat others as you want to be treated.
Yep. And I think, and like I said, do I agree that he set out? No, I agree in equality. And I agree that it wasn't about a religious attack on trying to force, their lifestyles on other people. It was hey, we're trying to include everybody. And this is the outward way we do that. And so, but I also don't agree with all the hate he's getting because he chose in a diplomatic way.
Yeah.
He chose to carry on his beliefs. That's what he believes in. So
I agree. I don't agree with the hate either. I don't think he did anything worthy of getting shit on by any means.
Yeah. I think that's what we're all discussing here is like, did he do it in a diplomatic way? And like,
and I think we both did. Okay.
He
and that's all we have to say.
We're boring Carlo, and we want to make sure that Carlo sticks around. Yeah,
and Carlo is going to sleep, and he's a Chicago guy.
He didn't speak up and defend the Blackhawks.
I'm in Carolina right now. I'm a month later than you are. You can stay awake with me. Come on.
So that's bombing for Bedard. Anything else around the NHL that you want to?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so we've covered 60-year-olds getting offended at boobies. We've covered
Naperville. Holy shit, Lake Zurich.
Another Nick coming in and telling us about ass cookies. We've covered all the stuff going on in the NHL. Let's just cover drafts real quick. We got draft coming up at Savannah. It's going to be a sold out 6. It's going to be fucking wild. I'm ready to be a wild boy at Savannah. It's going to be insane. I'm ready for it. And then we got a lot of tournaments coming up. So you guys just go check us out, all our tournaments. Last time we didn't do our F, Marry, Kill alternative, Fight, Liney, Cut. When we talked about that. And I think it's important that we did it. So I'm going to, I mean, the people we chose last time are pretty asinine, but we're going to do it anyway.
Okay.
We're going to, Queen Elizabeth, Barbara Walters, and who is the third person? Lisa Marie Presley, because they just So it's almost like Fuck, Marry, Kill, but it's Fight, Liney, Cut because we're hockey and we're trying to be fucking classy. So Kevin, and Jess, Fight, Liney, Cut, Queen Elizabeth, Lisa Marie, Barbara Walters.
If I may, Jess, I am going to cut Lisa Marie Presley. I just don't feel like she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna make the team. You know, I don't think she's got the skills. She doesn't seem very athletic.
So you're killing. Okay.
Yeah, I am. Oh yeah, well, cut, right? Is it kill or cut?
Well, I mean, we're trying to be classy.
I thought I was cutting her. I don't know.
It's F, Marry, Kill. So it's Fight,
Liney, Cut. I would say I'm gonna play on a line with Queen Elizabeth because I mean, fuck Queen Elizabeth. You know, I mean, how can you not play with her? She's going to dominate out there. And by default, I'm fighting Barbara Walters. I mean, I honestly didn't have a problem with Babs, but you know, I mean, she's got to fight me. She could beat me, but she's got to fight me.
Yeah.
Jess,
can we answer the trivia question? The 4 people that Lisa Marie was married to, Michael Jackson was one. Nick Cage was.
I was going to say Nick Cage was one, right? Yeah.
The Keogh guy. Who is the 4th?
The keto guy?
Keogh, Keough. There was one more. But I know there was Nick Cage and Michael Jackson. That's all that really fucking matters. She was married to 4. So, Lockwood. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't think so either, Carolyn.
So, Kill, Line, and Cut?
Yeah. Or Fuck, Marry, Kill. Whatever.
Fuck, Marry, Kill.
No, it's fight. It's fight.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah.
And Liney. We're not killing people.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Fight. Queen Elizabeth.
Ooh.
That'd just be a rousing good time. She's gone through a lot of stuff. Absolutely. Lionel Lisa Marie Presley. That's a lot of like emotional, mental baggage. Like,
but that's what you're here for. Like, you guys would really fucking hit it off. I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely. Like that sounds like a good time.
You guys could tell some stories about your husbands.
Hold on, as I compose myself.
Hey, I'll do it for you, Kyle.
And
Carolyn,
what's
Kyle
the K?
says Canes are the best. Fight, Liney, Cut. Fight, Liney, Cut.
Barbara Walters. Like, she's too much of a person of the man. Like, they don't tell her what to say, but like, she's being paid for do her job, and that's all we've seen her do. Like, I don't really think she's got it in her to like be her own person.
Okay.
Although she's been badass on camera, not gonna lie.
Sure.
But
they've all been badass. Okay, for me, I'm gonna have to line Lisa Marie Presley because I'm a huge Elvis fan. I know everything there is to know about Elvis, and I can't
really.
Yeah, I love Elvis. I've been a fan since I was born. I mean, he's died 5 years before I was born. But my grandmother, huge Elvis fan, and she got me hooked. I remember her crying. I remember like I was like 7 years old and we're watching Elvis on tour and she's fucking crying. I'm like, Grandma, what the fuck's wrong, Grandma? She's like, oh, it's Elvis. And I can't, he changed the world. And before him, everything was so boring and bland. And then Elvis came and, the sex. And I'm like, oh, Grandma, I'm 7. And
she's like, no, he fucked me good.
No, and so she told me all this. So I just became a huge fan and just have loved him ever since. And so Lisa Marie, that's a sad story, but I'm definitely going to have to Liney, old Lisa Marie. I think I would also fight Queen Elizabeth because she seemed like the frailest one, the easiest fight, really. Other than if she's still alive, she also has all that security detail with her because she's the queen. But
I think she talks mad game.
Yeah, I still think I could. I could go. I think I could whip her one out. Like if she was what 90 and some change.
90.
Yeah.
She was
yeah.
she was old.
So this is you're talking about the day they died. This is
Well,
like
I didn't give any rules, but if I'm going to
it's
fight
true. You
her,
didn't.
and if she's a frail old lady, I'm winning that like a motherfucker. That's just the way it's going to be, right? And no offense, I live in Canada. God save the Queen, or God, whatever they fucking say to the royalty. But God save them, and God bless the BLPA.
Nick won't be
so
here.
I guess for me, then I'm cutting Barbara Walters. I don't know all that much about her other than she's an interviewer. So fuck her, basically.
There you go.
That's basically it. That's Fight Liney Cut. Next week, Jess is going to come up with the Fight Liney Cut. I just made that decision in my brain. So I'll come up with a good Fight Liney Cut and come play in our tournaments. We love you. I hope you guys liked you liked Boston, Nick. I'm Nikki Kamish. He's Nikki Boston. So it works out. We'll see if we can get more Nicks on this show. Like we get a fucking show of Nick. Sorry, Jess and Kev. If I can get 5 Nicks on here,
I'll go change my name tomorrow.
Perfect.
I like
how dedicated I am.
I like that. I like that. All right, guys. Well, that's it for us tonight. Join us again next Tuesday. We'll be ripping it up. We will not offend 60-year-old people, and we'll just we'll do the damn thing. So, anything to add before we leave?
Love you, Kyle. Love you, buddy.
Kev loves Kyle.
Yeah.
Follow Jess at
my ass is bruised this week, so I'll let you guys know how it feels next week.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about you injecting your ass with things. Yeah. What a missed opportunity.
You know what? What a great teaser for next week.
Next week.
It's bruised right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bo was like, "Can I smack that?" I was like, "Please don't."
Yep. Yeah. Well, hey, tune in next week where we talk about injecting things into our asses with Jess. All right.
Voluntarily,
but with consent, because that's what we're all about. You can find me at Nicker Jones over on Twitter. Come cut it up with us, the BLPA. Give us some feedback, good or bad. We'll shit talk you. We'll get in a tweef with you. We don't care. We'll tweef your ass up. Doesn't matter. Yeah. But until then, guys,
sounds dirty.
Be good or be